Forces of the Nigerian Navy, like our own version of the American Navy SEAL, the Nigerian Air Force Special Squad. There is a special went out to identify the people involved. And the DSS have been on this for a very long time. And they identified the family members those close to these people. And they began to go to different parts of the country, from Kwara State to Nigeria. Wives, mothers, sisters, brothers, and they took them in from different states. We're negotiating with bandits, negotiating with kidnappers, and that is like you fueling. You are creating an enterprise where people believe that yes, they will negotiate and then they will make money out of it. But there was a result by this government to say we're not going to negotiate, and we're going to give them fire for fire.
Is it okay now? It's okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
What US did in Nigeria Republic securing the release of the American that was kidnapped. Please, we need to understand this. Number one, is an adult, and two, the man in question, I can bet you, is a government asset. He's not a civilian. He is an intelligence asset of the government, and what it carries is so strong enough for the US not to allow him to stay any longer in the hands of those. But we're talking about children here. And for you to be able to rescue children, a lot of them, we're talking about children of 2 years, 4 years old, 6 years old there. If you now bombard the place, how will those children run? What are they going to do? They might run to the wrong place. So it required carefully planned operations. And this made government to bring about the best of the best in Nigeria, the Department of State Service, the special forces of the Nigerian Navy, like our own version of the American Navy SEAL, the Nigerian Air Force Special Squad. There is a special, squad from the Defense Intelligence, the best of the best from the Nigerian Police. They all came together, including the office of the NSA, to form a tactical operation. One, isolating the people involved, then encircle them and ensure that they're able to take them out. And in planning this, it's not something that you can achieve in a day. And I can tell that part of what they did was because we have children involved, and the first action to now went out to identify the people involved. And the DSS have been on this for a very long time. They identified the family members, those close to these people, and they began to go to different parts of the country, from Kwara State to Niger State, to Sokoto, to Kaduna, to Kano, to Katsina, Adamawa, Gombe, Borno, different parts of the United States, to start arresting wives, mothers, sisters, brothers of those that are involved, and they took them in from different states, did a video of these people, and sent a video to the kidnappers to say, we also have your own people. If you kill any one of these people, we're also going to kill your own family members. And that is, if you're trying to negotiate with people like this, you need to negotiate from the point of strength.
That's brilliant. From Sheyade Tayo, who, like we said, is a security expert and a former DSS operative. And by the way, there was a little glitch earlier. If you were watching on YouTube, even on TikTok, we lost the audio for a bit. That's why we had to replay that stuff. But I'm glad we are all here now and it's being fixed. So I was saying that one of the things that I like about this particular thing is, this particular event, or the, how should I say it, operation, is the fact that a lot of things were done in secrecy. All right, and we didn't know. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. I don't like ignorance. I like for people to be educated, but there are certain things that are not meant for public consumption. All right, And it's important for people to know the limits of this. I want to know, I want to know. So, Bahama, what do you want to do with it? What exactly do you want to do with that information? Someone says, I wish they had kept that part confidential. No, no, no. Excuse me, no, they've accomplished their game, the goal. It's not meant to be confidential. These are security experts. When it was supposed to be kept confidential, they kept it confidential. Right now, they want us to know. They told us to know. And they're not just talking to us. They are talking to others who may want to try what these other guys did, that they are ready to go to the extreme. In other words, we're good. And how many of the family members can you actually, ferry out of the country if you want to carry out terrorist activities in the country? All right. So they actually, I believe, they're not just talking to us. It's not what I believe. It's very easy to understand. They're not just talking to us like, oh, this is what we did, though. See what we did, though. This is how we did it, though. Even now, there are things they're not going to tell us. And guess what? They have a right not to tell us. It's just that people assume that life is social media. It's crazy. Anyway, the point is beyond what they are telling us, they're also telling others that listen, in case you do this something like this, so this is what we're going to do to your family members. And someone Olumiwa on TikTok says something very fantastic. He says they have a million strategies. They have a million strategies. The former assistant director, Mr. Matri, mentioned earlier that they had been negotiating with these guys for a long time. If they were not negotiating, how were they able to send the videos of the family members that they had captured from Niger to Borno to in different parts of the north? Definitely, they must have been talking to them. But since they didn't put it on social media, apparently people think that some clowns think that nothing was happening, and that's why I said that they were not really about the safety or the release of these abducted ones. They just want to get political capital out of this unfortunate incident. But we're glad. Olonju Olo. I want you to listen to the principal again, Mrs. Alamu, and this time they had been taken away from the forest or even from that area. They've been taken from from the forest they went to the medical center, and then from there they went to the governor's house.
There are times that we have hope that we won't come out alive. Mr. Michael was killed on the second day of God's day, but Dikin was killed on the first Sunday of June. The first Sunday of June. They killed them purposely because they felt that would force the hand of the government to give them whatever. They tried a lot, but we're grateful that we have the government that thought much of us. We discovered that the whole world was interested in our case. We thought, so all we want to say is thank you very much to everybody, especially the officers, the governor, the president, everyone that has been involved in this case. We have scars already. We believe with time we will heal. And we pray that those that lost their lives, the Lord will console the family. So on behalf of everyone, we are saying thank you from the depths of our hearts. We appreciate you so much. We appreciate all you have done, the efforts you have put in, so that we all came out alive. Thank you so much. We will not continue to bless you.
Thank you very much. The next one.
So Ms. Alamo says she said they killed those other people, Mr. Michael and the Deacon, in order to force the hand of the government. And we're just glad. I mean, just like she said, may God console the families of those who lost their loved ones, in that debacle, and may God, protect their families. We're glad that these other ones who were rescued, got rescued. And someone said earlier that let me just read the comment here. Ade says, I'm so glad that they did not negotiate. Southwest would have been turned to open season for banditry. I agree. Rick Lewis says they showed the meaning of Were laughing Wole. All right. My Battlefield says if they did not negotiate with them, how would they be able to maintain the welfare of the children? Now that you said that, people are saying on social media that the kids do not look malnourished. Therefore, it was staged. The kind of things I've read and heard, many of those things we can't play here, so that we don't give mad people a platform. So the idea basically is that they expect the children to be, you know, kwashoko reading, and that would have given them the kind of joy they expect. So see how they are. To be honest, they didn't really want them to be religious. They just wanted to use it, especially during the next um, election crisis. Sorry, election cycle. Meanwhile, for those who may still be here wondering if this thing actually really happened, or maybe was staged, which of course would take a lot of stupidity to even assume. And I'm saying this because wọ́n géèyàn lọ́rùn, wọ́n dún bó èèyàn. Àwọn kékèké wà níbì kan fún about 56, it's almost 2 months. There's a woman tó jẹ́ pé I mean the women, because they're the ones those pictures I saw who went there, they are a lot leaner now. I mean, and we're not even going to the deepest. I'm just talking about the surface, whatever. But Soka says they wanted them to look like the fake AI videos they were spreading. Exactly. The pictures they were putting out, by the way, they're not pictures from Owerri local government. So they manufactured that from somewhere else, gave it to content creators who then sat down to create content based on false information, and they want to. And I saw a lot of them. I just like, do you not even check to be sure that what you're actually spreading is true? Ask. Thank you very much for the compliment. I appreciate you. Should you just jump on the bandwagon because everybody's talking about it? And I want to also, I don't know. Let me not say. Anyway, in case you are still one of those doubting Thomases, I want to play you a clip from the Dean of Renewable Natural Resources at LAUTECH, Capital University of Technology in Ogbomoso, LAUTECH College of Agricultural Sciences and Renewable Natural Resources. The Dean of Renewable Resources at that college happens to be the husband of the principal who was kidnapped. And here is a clip about a month ago when he spoke on this matter. Take a listen.
Èmi ni ọkọ principal community high school àwọn ẹ̀sìnlẹ̀ èyí tí àwọn agbẹnipamọ́ gbé sí àkàtà wọn. Gómìnà wa a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín kò sí bí a ṣe lè dúpẹ́ tó lè tó nítorí pé àwọn akitiyan tí ẹ ti ṣe láti ìgbà tí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ti ṣẹlẹ̀. Ẹ ṣàlejò wa èmi ni díẹ̀ renewable natural resources ní Ìṣẹ́yìn a sì mọ ribiribi tí ẹ ṣe fún wa. Tí mo tún fẹ́ sọ ni pé ẹ ní ṣàṣetì lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kò sí ní sú yín kò ní rẹ̀yìn. Gbogbo àwọn èèyàn wa tó wà ní àkàtà àwọn èèyàn wọ̀nyí ẹ dákun à ń bẹ̀ yẹn má jẹ́ kó rẹ̀yìn sáà. Àtọmọdé àtàgbà wọn ìyàwó mi ni wọ́n ń lò láti fi ṣe fídíò tí wọ́n ń pín káàkiri. It's very disheartening and depressing. Mi ò ní sọ jù báyìí lọ sàkó mọ̀ pé ẹni ṣe ẹ kájú ẹ̀ sì jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Ẹ ṣe gómìnà ẹ ṣe.
That was Professor Alamu, the husband of that principal. Then after he spoke, the governor decided to go talk to him, and then he broke down, and the governor had to hug him while he cried, and it was very emotional. I'm just so happy that this same man on Sunday was in church. I have a clip here of the man in church where they're worshiping and thanking God for the release of his wife and the others who were captured. This is, I mean, there's a video of him thanking God in church and all that. All right, so this is good. We're glad that Oja Sokbe, but you go and meet a person like this and tell them that it was staged. Even Tori Obakwegan, Oya Koma, but before we go into other serious matters on this issue, I'd like you to listen to a few more of those asinine contributions to this conversation. Take a listen to this.
Was an Igbo Major General who coordinated the efforts that led to the successful rescue of the Oyo kids and their teachers. Somebody shout power. Shout for them power again. To bring them power. That's good. That is what we are talking about. Igbo supremacy. Not even Dokamo. This is according to the Nigerian army. Trust me, after a long time of distrust, as Igbo Global is proud of the Nigerian army. Hey, look at our warning. I can't believe I'll be praising the Nigerian army. But I'm not the Amusu now. I'm not a witch. If you do well, planned and executed the operations on July 10, 2026, which led to the rescue of the 44 Oyo children and their teachers. Somebody shout power. This will not be Igbo. Before they carry our glory now, go give Igbo. It is not at all at all. Only Igbo, one fee Igbo check was an Igbo Major General who coordinated.
I just want to ask, is there like a school for stupidity in the southeastern part of Nigeria? Did they raise them to think this? I know not everybody went to that school, if it exists, but it looks like a lot of people were raised to just be stupid. How did you move from this? And don't tell me it's a joke. My corporation go for but let's be serious. This idea that everything ends with Igbo supremacy, it's a mental problem. Is it true that it was an Igbo major who actually, I mean, Igbo commander, the GOC of the Nigerian Army in Ibadan, actually Major General, that's his name, that's his title, his rank, Major General CR Nebefe. Is it true that he was the one who led this thing? Yes. Am I happy that he did it? Yes. How on earth did the fact that he led that thing become Igbo supremacy? People are sick in the southeast. Not everybody, but many of them, particularly the ones that are on social media. I think they released the ones from the asylum are the ones they gave microphone to speak on social media because they are not representing. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me not say they're not representing them well. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me say that perhaps they are showing exactly how majority think. Of course, you also have people who are against this thing. Let me just make that clear so it doesn't look like I'm saying every Igbo person is like this. It just happens to be that it's either an Igbo person is speaking against what happened and saying it was staged, like the one we listen to, who's also an Igbo girl, or you have another Igbo girl here who is saying that it's Igbo supremacy. By the way, there are also Yoruba people who are also questioning this thing. Again, stupidity has no ethnicity. It just happens to be that a particular ethnicity has more of the critics of good news and also looking for ways to appropriate it. But let me tell you something about how that went, by the way. This is from the nation Nigeria, and their pictures. Children with other security. You call that a motekun. And you are saying Igbo supremacy. I said before they take the glory for somebody else. How is that somebody else's glory? And like I said, don't say it's just a joke. This is a mindset thing. It's exactly what Azikiwe did with all the money and the education he had. That's what he was also pushing, Igbo supremacy. And I dare say that he and the rest of the educated elites from the Igbo in the 1930s and 40s and 50s are the reason for everybody has his own play, his own part that they played, right, in the problem we have in Nigeria today. However, this thing of supremacy, we are better, will dominate, it was created by educated elites in the Igbo society. And one of these days, I'm going to discuss it. And by the way, if every conversation has to make you bring up supremacy, it's actually because you are an inferior person, you're an inferior species. That's why. Nobody has to call you that. You are exhibiting traits of an inferior person. I don't want to call it inferiority complex. It's just really, really inferior. But I mean, it's talk for another day. The Nigerian Army has reviewed how its troops, in collaboration with other security agencies and local security outfits, rescued 44 pupils and teachers abducted by terrorists in a local government area of Oyo State. during a carefully planned, intelligence led operation that lasted more than a month. The army said the victims who were kidnapped on May 15, 2026, regained their freedom on July 10 in a coordinated operation led by the General Officer Commanding Chude Division, Nigerian Army Ibadan, Major General C.R. Inebeife. Take a listen to the representative of Nigerian Army.
We lost it. He has been very supportive. I put it on record today. He has been military and of course other security agencies in Oyo State.
This is, sorry, let me start from the beginning. This is the GOC, the same man who led the operation. Igbo power, supremacy. Egbiri. Take a listen, please.
The executive governor of Oyo State, Engineer Soyinka, he has been very supportive. I put it on record today. He has been military and of course other security agencies in Oyo State. From the day it happened, I know His Excellency has always been calling. He wants to know what is happening, how far. You know, contrary to what a lot of media houses say that he doesn't bother about it, but that's not true. I, for one, will tell you that he has been calling to find out what the situation was. And also, we thank you for all the support to the security agencies and them.
According to the Army, the operation involved several special units from the Office of the National Security Advisor, including the National Counterterrorism Center, the Defense Headquarters, Special Forces from the Nigerian Army, Navy and Air Force, the Nigerian Police Force, the Department of State Services, the National Intelligence Agency, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, as well as local vigilantes, hunters, and Amotekun personnel. It said the operation focused on identifying the terrorist kingpins behind the abduction and dismantling their networks, logistics chain, informants, and hideouts within the old Oyo National Park forest in Oyo State. The army disclosed that multiple arrests were made in Oyo State and other parts of the country, a development that disrupted the terrorist network, mounted sustained pressure on the group, and ultimately forced it to unconditionally release the pupils and teachers. It added that further operations would be conducted. According to the statement, the operation was carefully planned and executed to avoid collateral damage and ensure the safe rescue of the victims, although some security personnel were killed during the operation. The rescued pupils and teachers are receiving medical attention. That was then. They received medical attention at an undisclosed hospital and will be handed over to the state government for unification with their families. The GOC expressed appreciation to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's his boss, by the way. People are shouting Igbo supremacy. If the commander-in-chief of the armed forces is Yoruba, what's the length of the state for their continued support to security agencies? The army further appreciated the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, the Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, other service chiefs, and Inspector General of Police, the Director General of the DSS and NIA, as well as heads of the other security agencies, for ensuring seamless coordination throughout the operation. Our hearts go out to security agencies, agents actually, members of the security agencies who were killed in that rescue operation. May God console their family. All right. That's the sad part of this whole thing. I mean, we're happy, but you also think about those who had to pay the ultimate price to ensure the release of these ones that we now celebrate. Okay. One more clip from Clowns, and then we'll move on to other serious stuff. Take a listen to this one.
Brothers who are jumping up and down online saying that, oh, the 40 kidnapped and threat takers has finally been released. Let me tell you, it was an evil man.
Sorry, if I do take it, I'll go all over it again. I'll go all over what I was saying again. Let's not waste time. But to be honest, I think the president needs to help us. I mean, there are many things that have to happen in this country. Number one is that we have to beef up security operations in different parts of Nigeria. Um, the governors of southwest states have to do more. We're going to play some of the things that the president said as well, to ensure that things are properly done. We need the security agencies to also help in the north to secure the release of the people who have been kidnapped. Then we need the president to, fulfill the promise that General Muhammadu Buhari made to the southeast when he said he was going to build 15 psychiatric outposts in the southeast. That needs to happen. And it's not because of any jab. It is needed. It is needed. There is no way on earth where you find a way to center yourself in every conversation and you don't have mental problem. Let's not even use Oyinbo psychiatric, mental problem. During your Badaru, how come everything that happens you must find a way to center yourself? You can't even thank God for those people. You can't even celebrate. On one hand, you're saying it did not happen. Then when it's called that your lies will not fly again, they're like, oh, it's Igbo supremacy, it's one of us that did it. Are you okay? People are not okay. 15, that's the promise that Buhari made. President Tinubu needs to, as a matter of urgency, fulfill Buhari's promise. We have to do protest, carry placard, build the 15 outposts now. Maybe they should make it 30. Ha! Many are mad, few are roaming. Let's take a listen to the president and what he says about what we need to do to make sure that we fix things, we ensure that things like this don't happen anymore. Take a listen, please.
Local government. People reside in the local government. People are in the local community. That is where they reside. That is where they feed. That is where they garden. That is where they cook. That's where they farm. If the local government are not free and leaders don't hand out to the number, we have 774 local government. It's just a number. Is it effective? Is it reaching the real people? Who is being held accountable for this money? Maybe we should look and recalibrate one version that was good 4 years ago might not be good today. And when we won the votes, we go to the locals. When we get the votes, we move to Abuja. I think we have to collectively join hands. I need for you to get also a committee of people that can really embark on the campaign for our value to change people.
The point is, there's a lot of focus on the federal government, and there's nothing wrong with asking the federal government to do what they have to do. However, when you act as though Nigeria doesn't have 3 tiers of government, what you're doing is to place burden on not just on the federal government, but even you now put pain. You get to experience pain that you should not experience because the ones who are closest to you, you're not demanding anything of them, right? Security has to be layered. So you have the one from local government at the local government level, you have the one at the state government level, then of course you now talk about the federal government. When you have intelligence-led, activities within the security agencies in the state and local government, they have to also get busy. Maybe they are collecting money. There's allocation to local government now. There's local government autonomy. Okay, at least the state government collects money. What are they doing? What are we asking our governors to do? And we need our governors to do more. the schools, for instance, should be properly fenced. Okay, it's not every time we be shouting president. And I'm very happy the way we did this in Yoruba land, generally speaking. But what happened in your state, the way we spoke up, we should continue to speak up. Whether you like the governor or you don't like the governor, doesn't matter. Our children need to be protected. Our society, our cities, our towns, even our villages, today every single part of Yoruba land should be well protected, and that's in the hands of Amotekun. It's in the hands of our state governors. It's in the hands of even Nigerian police as it is right now. And thankfully, we're going to be having state police very soon. So this, of course, should help us, get things better. I want you to listen to a few more clips before we go to the senator representing that senatorial district in National Assembly, and also the state governor. Is a broadcast that they put out after the release of those children. Okay, take a listen to this one.
I refuse to sign for local government autonomy anywhere in the world.
No. Sorry. This one is a political. Let me play something from a man who is a resident of Yaota. Okay, the same local government or your local government of your state. And this is what he says. His name is Obeshino Benjamin. And this is what he had to say. Take a listen, please.
Just see suddenly that something wrong is happening here. Those kidnapper and robbing, they just enter here and pack our people, doing so many things. And we don't have network to call to make anything, to make our government or our people to know that something is happening here, which is bad things. So we need network. Sometimes our people, their health may not okay enough. We don't have enough health center. Even for our children, we need a standard education because our school here, we don't even have a good building, and we still have we still need enough teacher to be learning there. We don't have electricity, something here like solar lights. They just give us a little one instead of giving us the one that will circulate our environment. So all those things, it still cause those and still make those people to be enter this environment and do so many bad things as they like. We need the help of our government too. We need help of government. If government don't have anything to do about it, so this place is too difficult to stay here. Because we near that bush. Even those our forest guys our boom, we usually call them our boom, they have run away for us. So those people that we are still looking at, we are using them to be guiding ourselves. They have run for us.
I mean, it's important to listen to people that live in that area. I mean, those of us who live far away can have conversations on social media, but if we really want to help, it's important to listen to people who actually reside in that space. And then you mentioned that they're very close to the national park. The other day someone came here and said, "Oh, why didn't they just go there and rescue those children?" I was saying that the entire place, the Old National Park, is about 2,500 square kilometers. For context, the entire Lagos state, not Lagos alone, Lagos state, that is Ibile. Okay, that is Ikorodu, Badagry, Ikeja, Lagos Island, and Ekpe. Everywhere together is 2,800 square kilometers. This Old National Park, that park alone is 2,500 square kilometers. It's bigger than FCT. It's almost the size of Lagos State. Okay, so and we can't keep saying things like, "Oh, ungoverned territories," that people was guarding them. These forest guards that they're deploying, the 1,000 people that President Tinubu mentioned, it's important for them to keep working, regardless of the fact that they've rescued these children. All right, they've got to guard, because you can't say it's unguarded place because it's just bush. And you say you won't make a bush now. If you build anything on top of it again now, it used to be a town, it used to be the capital of Old Oyo. But if you've been to the national park like Yankari and any other national park, they've got to guard it. So we're hoping that the federal government will do that. And also the state government will also support them, because if anything happens, it's not going to affect people in Abuja, it will affect the locals. All right. So that's that about that. Okay, I wanted to play you one more clip from the clowns. I mean, this one sounds like a clown. Child, listen, you can decide if the person is a clown or not after listening to him. I won't mention his name, but just take a listen.
How come you release the children who have been in captivity for 46 days? 56 days, yes. Immediately they came out. Listen very well, because I remember what Adolf Hitler did. The only thing that came out from the mouth of those children is, we thank President Tinubu. We thank President Tinubu. Who told them? Do they know Tinubu? Those kids, do they know Tinubu? Who told them?
The vice principal to know Tinubu now.
No, but those children.
There were 5 teachers in all.
Who told them to start thanking Tinubu? Who told them? Is that the person? So they are forgetting their parents, Abi? And their siblings are too. They're forgetting them.
Well, they will find their parents when they
Please, when they want to play this game, they should be very careful and not embarrassing
You
themselves.
think it's okay? Okay.
I don't have to say the ethnicity of the person talking. I don't have to. I don't have to. Said they were thanking the president. You know the clowns that said the woman just started thanking the president, as though the woman was just inside the bush. They now carry camera to meet the woman inside the bush, and as soon as they rescued her, she just said, "Ah, thank you, President Tinubu." Like nothing happened before that conversation. I mean, people are dumb in this country. I understand. Not all of us, thankfully. The saddest part is for dumb people to have microphone. They should be thanking their parents. Kids were rescued. The kids should be thanking their parents. Give me Matuku. 1 second, please. Sorry about that. We're having some technical light issues apparently. So you are bringing kids out of the dungeon or the kidnappers den, and the first thing is, I want to thank our parents for doing what? For giving birth to you. How would they be thanking their parents in that moment? Their goal, of course, is to reunite with their families, but they will thank the people who initiated or who executed the release. And I mean, you think that these things are actually easy to understand, but apparently, maybe everybody gets sense like that. Ojakala, thank you very much for being here, and thanks for the gift you gave last time. Really appreciate it. Sinchin says, blaming on I'll not read that one out. We're wrapping up this Oyo State bit. I'll bring some people up, maybe a few people. Then we'll continue with the Peter B's interview. I'll bring more people up later. But if I want to bring people up right now, maybe just 2 or 3. So if I don't bring you up immediately, just please exercise patience. We'll have it again. I'll just bring a few people to catch my breath. But before I do that, let me just play you something from Senator Fatai Buhari, who is senator representing this particular district where the abductions took place. Thank you, CEO Code. Thanks for the gifts. Thanks a lot. Take a listen to Senator Fatai Buhari. It was on.
We didn't have some people that heard them from.
Was on Channels TV, right? Take a listen.
We didn't have some people that heard them from maybe Sokoto. They will read the newspaper or monitor the news, and they will be sending them texts and messages that this is what they want to do, this is what they want to do. And shield of fluid. So the first thing they did was they cut them off because of the communication. Let me tell you what made this thing easier for us. I'm not a military, I'm just telling you as a representative of that area. The road in that area, the forest is very, very big. And the outing is full. Fortunately for us, there is a road in between the forest that goes, we call the time Igbope, that goes to Igbo and Ibeti. So the military people were there. That's to the north. To the west, we have a town called Secretary. These are the places they can go out with it. The military was there. Back to Ibeti, the third town. So, and then from the south, where they attacked from, which is a CLA. The military were there. So they couldn't cross to the Niger side of the state. That is one of the first sources the military did. That's why I said I'm so happy with them. They contain them. They contain them. So when you hear people, there are some certain things for security's sake that probably is a privileged information that I have that I won't disclose. But like I told you, the movement is not that. Let's go. Even if they get the family member or the informant and they are able to escape, there's nothing. By that time, they must have even reached Niger, Sokoto, Kebbi, or another place where they are very, very strong. But this place, you are all there. That's why I think. And then the good thing is that all the senior military officers, the GOC, the garrison commander, they were battlefield. They didn't leave it to the junior officer. It was really good. One of the weekend when I was told about 3 weeks ago, I saw a battalion of naval officers going towards that place in my own. I said, this is really going to do there. I know we have streams, but water, no river. I didn't know they were being professional and they did a human job. But I hugged one of the Navy captain. And I said, the day I saw you, I said, this kind of show of action is this? He said, no. It was just because I didn't know about Navy. I was even thinking, when I see Air Force, it will be private and Navy. It's not River State. They're going to go and do it.
I'm very interested that all of this just happened.
I want to show you a clip. I want to show you a few clips, right? I mean, we'll find a way to make sure that I'm able to do video without having to lift up a camera. I would have to lift up a phone, but I think this is important just so that you understand what he was saying, that he saw the Navy, going through the stuff. Watch this one. Share Mari Dadabai.
Welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir.
It's on that clip. So they're marching through stream. This is the army. This is the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Navy, working as a team, through that terrain. There's another video here. Well, we get army. Apparently, these are clips coming out now from the Nigerian Army of what happened. Not for the sake of content creation, they've already done the operation, so now they can show us some of the things that they think we should see. And if you want to see more, kindly join the Nigerian Army. Help to secure our borders, help to, save our land. If you want to know more, join the army. And last thing I'll play on this matter before we go, or is actually the woman's, again, the principal, Mrs. Alamu, talking about, seeing her husband, Professor Alamu. Listen to this very quickly, and then we'll bring a couple of people up. Take a listen, please.
Living it. It was not easy. We were in the forest, in the open, most of the time, under the sun, under the rain, with the children. But we kept going because there was no way out. We knew it was God that could only help us. So that really helped us. And the fact that we believe that people are praying for us, that also helped us as well. And I cannot say it's not good because sometimes things we go through, you think that when you break down, that will be the end. But you will just survive it. Personally, I was not beaten, but some of the children were beaten. Children, some of them are quiet, some of them are loud. And what they hate most is noise, that it attracts attention. So the youngest of them, maybe the two, Waliya and Salam, they were the one that took the best of the beating. They would close their mouth, tie it with clothes, and beat them very well. Then the men, they had it worse than us, because they were blindfolded, handcuffed, and chained on the leg. All of them until they remained two. Sexual molestation? No. I want to see my husband. When I get home, I can think of any other thing. But definitely, it has to be something that will be good for me. We sacked them off. When we started, the first week, they were bringing biscuits for them, maybe to make them comfortable. But along the line, that stopped. Then we had to move from one point to another. And that was a major problem we had. When the place is discovered, we have to move. And that starts around 7, 8 in the night. Sometimes we walk 3, 4 hours. That is most of the bruises you see on our bodies. Yes. They carry the last 3. Salam, Waliyat, and Testimony. The girls, the secondary school girls will carry the 10. The other ones, they have to walk. Fall, sometimes, a lot. When we were taken, my car was used to convey us to a point. That was where we met the primary pupils and the teacher. So we had to walk for about 1 hour. They brought bicycle machine and about 10 of them. So we were packed there. And we rode for more than 4 hours, uncharted paths, but they knew their way. What actually happened, I thought they left the car there. The police would have towed the car to their office. But somebody showed me the car where it was burnt. And that was not the part we took. So I think they drove it to that point before it was touched. That was not the way we took into the forest. Going to rural area will take the grace of God. With time, I've worked for 28 years. So I have 4 years. With time, maybe I can get over it. But going that far, the distance between that place and Ogunosho is far already. So I sacrifice a lot when it comes to transportation. Now, coupled with this, I don't know what to happen.
I said it was the last, and I remember I did not play the governor's speech. I will play that before we move on. Before I do, let me read something here. Lagos says Nigerian army is one of the best in Africa, apart from politics. Ask people from Sao Tome and Principe, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and the Congo in the 60s, even in the 90s. Liberia, particularly, and Sierra Leone, even in the 90s, Ekomogano. We just don't respect our own, but we thank them for their service, and we're glad, for this lady and all the children. Lastly, I want you to take a listen to the governor's speech. This is the governor of your state, Governor Seyi Makinde. Take a listen, please.
My dear good people of Oyo State, today our hearts are filled with immense relief as the children and teachers abducted from the Haoro, Eshile, and Yawata communities in Orire local government area have finally been reunited with their families. For every parent who endured weeks of uncertainty, every child who lived through this traumatic experience, and every citizen who prayed and hoped for their safe return, this is indeed a moment of thanksgiving. Yet, even as we rejoice, our relief is tempered by profound sorrow. We mourn the tragic loss of life in the course of this unfortunate incident. Among them were 2 dedicated teachers, Mr. Joel Adesina, who was killed on the day of the abduction within the school premises, and Deacon John Olaleye, who died while in captivity. Many Nigerians witnessed the horrifying video showing the brutal murder of Mr. Michael Oyedo, a dedicated teacher whose life was cruelly cut short by these terrorists. We will never forget security personnel, hunters, and members of the Oyo State Amotekun Corps who paid the ultimate price in the line of duty. Lieutenant F.A. Isaac, Mr. Adigun Shuaibu, Mr. Issa Saliu, Mr. Rafiu Ayuba, and an unnamed soldier. We pray that Almighty God grant them eternal rest and give strength and comfort to their families during this painful period. We also honor the courage of Mr. Bamidele Paul, who sustained serious injuries and is presently receiving treatment. We pray for his full and speedy recovery. I thank the people of Oyo State for their patience, resilience, and cooperation throughout this difficult week, especially those whose daily lives were disrupted by the security measures and curfews that became necessary in the interest of public safety. While we give thanks today, we must also remain vigilant. The threat posed by criminal elements has not disappeared. Experience from other parts of our country has shown that terrorists and bandit groups often seek to strike again where they perceive vulnerability. We must therefore not allow this moment of relief to become a moment of complacency. Security is everyone's responsibility. If you see anything suspicious, report it immediately to the appropriate security agency. You may also call 615, Oyo State's toll-free emergency line for security and other emergencies.
The conversation is, the speech is a bit long, but I think we got the meat of it. And may God console the family of those who lost their loved ones. And it's also good that Oyo State has their own toll-free emergency line 615. I just heard it. But like we said last week, there's push by the federal government to have a unified emergency number throughout Nigeria, 112. It's operational in Lagos, at the moment, but they want to see how they can get it, not just here, but every part of Nigeria. So we'll see how that works out. But I'm glad, that this has just up, especially for the people who were abducted. Now I'll bring about 2 or 3 people up. We'll just talk about this for a bit, and then we will go to the second part, which has to do with Peter Obi. By the way, today's Kongi's 92nd birthday. Kongi is Professor Wole Soyinka, and we are so happy. That's the Nobel laureate. We're happy that he's alive to see his 92nd birthday. May God bless him and keep him. So let's have, someone says RIP. Yes, RIP Mr. Michael Oyedepo, absolutely. Akobi says, did you notice he didn't appear the federal government? No, he did. I just didn't want to play. No, he did. I didn't finish everything. He acknowledged the security forces. He also mentioned the federal government. He did. I just don't want to play everything. No, I don't think. They're not that petty, which is a delight considering Peter had gone to town saying all kinds of funny things about how they didn't talk to themselves. Apparently, he did. Maybe I should play everything. She can play about it, but what I'm speaking up for the governor.
Experience has also compelled us to rethink how we secure communities that border the old Oyo National Park. If you see anything suspicious, report it immediately to the appropriate security agency. You may also call 615, Oyo State's toll-free emergency line for security and other emergencies. The vigilance of our communities remains one of our greatest strengths. This painful experience has also compelled us to rethink how we secure communities that border the old Oyo National Park. Under our constitution, national parks fall under the jurisdiction of the federal government, and we respect that constitutional arrangement. However, constitutional limits do not diminish our responsibility to do everything within our lawful power to protect the people of Oyo State. Accordingly, the Oyo State government will immediately strengthen oversight of all access routes leading into and out of the old Oyo National Park through our adjoining local government areas. We shall introduce appropriate measures to regulate movement through these corridors, improve community intelligence, strengthen collaboration with local communities and security agencies, and establish clear protocols that make it more difficult for criminal elements to exploit our border communities as passive or operational basis. Detailed implementation guidelines will be announced shortly. Leadership is ultimately measured not only by how we respond to tragedy, but by whether we learn from it and build stronger institutions afterwards. That is the commitment we make to the people of Oyo State today. The reunion of these children and teachers with their families does not mark the end of this painful chapter. It marks the beginning of another responsibility, our collective responsibility to establish the truth. The circumstances surrounding this incident are sufficiently grave and unusual to warrant independent scrutiny beyond our domestic institutions. I therefore, with a full sense of responsibility as the executive governor of Oyo State, call on the appropriate international human rights and accountability mechanism, including those within the United Nations system, to closely examine the facts surrounding this abduction and the circumstances of its resolution. Such scrutiny is not intended to undermine our institutions. Rather, it is intended to reinforce public confidence that the truth will be established and that every person found to bear responsibility, regardless of office, influence, or affiliation, will be held accountable. Under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
No, guys, we can't take everything. We don't have all the time. I wanted to play the bit where he talked about the things that the state will also be doing, just in case folks come up to, try to talk about, oh, this is what they should be doing. So at least you must have heard him say some of those things already. So let's have, by the way, when he's talking about having the United Nations probe the circumstances surrounding that stuff, I don't know if that's not politicization, or maybe I don't get all of those things. But we'll see. I mean, we'll all talk about it. Let me just take a breather. Let's start with CEO Coded. Then we'll go to Mr. Fola and then Bumblebee. But please, let's try and keep it short because I have one more thing.
Let me go after the next speaker.
Okay, so let's start with Mr. Fola.
Prof.
Yes, sir.
I will go after the next speaker.
Okay. Mr. Fola, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Oh.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Fola.
Yes. Okay. As in, you really made my day on Friday, sir. Sherry, I already platform here in Motikoko Ringpe what to release our money. I was going to church for a prayer meeting, and I was in the car waiting for people to converge, and I saw the message, and I saw it was at that time you held up the iPad and put it on the screen. You understand? I was so happy. And in Koto Dumiju, you were saying about me, the story very well, because I wasn't following from the beginning. So I now said, let me even reach out and check other outlets. She believe in pay, apart from you at the time, it was only probably TVC that had it on their platform. And I'm like, come on, what are we doing? Okay, but to kidnap our moyi. And pariwo ń pé wọ́n kidnap wọn, ẹ jẹ́ àwa solution. Ẹ jẹ́ àṣekínní kan, àwa tá mọ àdúrà gbà, à ń gbàdúrà. Àwọn tó form ìró ẹkùn, wọ́n form ìró ẹkùn. You know, all hands was on board. Then àwọn tó ń whale, one whale káàkiri. But at least all hands was on board to bring them back. As much as I don't like members of the opposition, at least they did a good job in putting the government on their toes in getting it back, so that one to reduce complacency. However, mo wá discover pé àwọn tó hate ara wọn láì ṣe Nàìjíríà wọ́pọ̀ o. In fact, reason don't come in. Reason tí mo fi decide láti pè ní pé just before I came up, I saw Rufai Kukute Oseni to post in Kokonsori platform, and it was like how an Anambra soldier rescued the Oyo school children. A whole article talking about the Major General, as in a whole article talking money nínú gbogbo nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn tí what people that pay the ultimate price of their soul. Bobo Kukute yìí kò rí nǹkan kan sọ. Now, I watched his program this morning on the news, and I was so vexed. In that, Sherry Teba ma dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ èèyàn, ẹ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ èèyàn kẹ́dẹ̀ dákẹ́. But if you say, we thank the security forces, but Sherry bought 30 FCA, it has negated every positive. You can't in the same breath be in front and be at the back. Commend them for now. And you can come back to condemn them in future. But it is so terrible, it's so amazing that even I want to talk with that one celebrity. Though me, I'd always told people that they really don't care. They were looking for a political tool. Lati lo. Then secondly, Moko, this I'm rounding off with this now. I want to seriously appreciate Mr. Festus Keyamo for the amazing thing he did by releasing that CCTV camera. That CCTV footage rather. Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Nítorí wọ́n park síwájú airport èèyàn tó bá ti lọ sí airport Abuja ó mọ̀ pé wọ́n park síbẹ̀ yẹn. Ẹ park ẹ kú ònú mọ́tò. Ṣé mọ̀ pé kò tún san fine yẹn? Mo mọ̀ pé àìtí débẹ̀, mo mọ̀ pé àṣì máa débẹ̀. But mo kàn ní kí n sọ nítorí mo lè má lè padà wá. Thank you very much, sir.
Was it any you? We'll talk about that one later, but man, Peter was just an interesting person. And maybe that's the only news we're going to take in that his interview with Chude. We'll take the others later. But we'll talk about that one with Festus Keyamo. But enter Kwenkukute. I know Buru, Mr. Fola, Kilo de, Eleni.
Oh my Kuru gone.
Momo. I saw that article that he shared on his X page, and I was wondering what exactly is this for? Could make sense. You are saying the person that released him is Abraham Brahman. So, anyway, it's not surprising. He's who he is. Let's have a Bumblebee before I'll bring other people up later after this next stuff. Bumblebee, please. Good evening.
Good evening, Prof.
Ẹkáàbọ. Yes, sir.
What I would just say is, Kolon Yawaya Asitani. To be honest, the Southeasterners, they are so irritating. They are such irritants. I'm like, if not because of Nigeria, these people have no reason being in Yoruba land. They have no business being with us. They have no business being near us. They are the most uncivilized set of people we've ever come across in this part of the world. They just go online, talk anyhow. They don't know what to say and what not to say. Oh my God, they are just pure irritants. Because I don't understand. Okay, so let's even assume all these all this. How would you think that people donated their children for skits? How would you think that people donated their children for more? For so the man that they beheaded was also cosplaying, Abi? Like, what are we talking about? Like, who does that? I was just looking at the whole thing. And for me, one of the biggest indicators was there's no way you will see children that are going to school that they will have their hair like that. Go and look at all of them. Their hair is 2 months due. All of them. Oh, kò sí shaping kankan, kò sí nǹkankan. So àwọn èèyàn máa fi àwọn kókó wọn lẹ̀. People will leave their kids, their toddlers, to go into the bush because they want to make the Nigerian government look good. Is that what we are saying? Like, what madness are we living in this country? It doesn't make any sense. To me, I'm not the biggest fan of Seyi Makinde. You know me. I don't like that guy. I don't know why. I don't know if there's a day that will come that I will like the guy. Because the first thing that came out of his mouth was he announced he wants to go for president, and so happened like a day or two later. Like, who does that? People are going through tragedy. The first thing you are thinking about is yourself and how their tragedy relates to you. That's not a concerned person. That's not a kind person. That's not a nice person. You don't do that. Recognize that people are into tragedy. There are people that are sleeping and waking every day with their toddlers not in their house. They don't wake up to see their children, their little children, every day. People not waking up to see their wives. There are people that will never see their father again. Beheaded on national TV, on social media. It's going around. What kind of trauma is that family passing through? And then you have people that are trying to make content out of it. And this funny human being going to oh my god, I don't want to talk about Peter Obi because I just think some of these people are subhumans. It's not worth talking about. I see their content coming online these days. I just stroll past because the things they say, no normal human being can swallow those kind of things and not go mad. Thank you very much, Prof. We thank God those kids are back home, right? But most importantly, the southwestern governors, they need to wake up. They need to take the bull by the horn. You cannot leave the security of your region in the hands of federal government. Tifero Kombawalo Lacho Amo Joseph Unko. What if a president is there tomorrow who is not a Yoruba person? What are we going to be left to? They'll be giving us speech, Abi, giving us hope. And those children will be there. We will know what happened to Chibok girls. They later prostituted some of them, turned them to Islamic girls and all that stuff. So what are we talking about? We need to do better. This cannot happen again. We are happy the children are back, but this cannot repeat itself in Yoruba land. Thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that submission, Bumblebee. Fantastic stuff. Nothing more to add. Thanks a lot. Let's go to the next speaker, and then we'll, after this, revisit the other part. Good evening, CEO Coded. Hello, CEO. Oh boy. Okay. I think we're still I think he's having issues with his network. So I'm gonna have to take you down again. Sorry. Hello, CEO Colette. Are you there? Hello?
Hello, Prof. Yes. Can you hear me? I don't know if
Yes,
it was
please.
my network or it's from
your
the end.
network is very poor.
Can't get through off.
Your network. Please go on.
Can you hear me now, though? It's clear.
Yes, please. Yes. Please go on.
Okay, yeah, Prof. Good evening. We thank God for the people that were rescued. We thank God. We thank the government. We thank all the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, all those that were involved. We thank God for them. We thank God for their lives. I mean, it would have been a shame for the Southwest if it had gone south. And thank God, because for a lot of these people from this other side, they wished that the worst could have been the case for this situation, because I don't know where people are joyous in other people's misfortune. From Saturday, tí a ti gbọ́ news yìí. Láti Saturday tí a ti gbọ́ news yìí, the kind of things I'm seeing on social media, I was marveled at the kind of things that people post on social media. I mean, and the majority of people that post these things, of course, you know them, they are from the other side. And I was marveled. Because how can you come online and you say that it was staged, it was politically motivated? I think one person even went as far as, I don't know if you played it, because I think I don't know, because there was a lady that came online that said it was President Tinubu that organized the kidnapping and everything, that they just managed. I mean, it was a political scenario. So it's very interesting that they could come up that far. But one thing one thing that became very obvious in this whole setting is that our military has the capability to deal with issues that we have. The only thing that we need to do is to empower them, because it was intelligent driven. In fact, there are some things that came out that I saw that I was not aware of, to the extent that you sell bread and akara in a village. Normally you are selling 1,000 naira, and suddenly you realize that you are making 5,000 naira in one day. You know that definitely there's something happening. Nígbà tí o sí construction bẹ́ẹ̀, tí o dẹ̀ sí àwọn tó wá ṣiṣẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀, definitely you have some strange bedfellows or aliens coming to patronize your wealth. So those are the kind of things that state police will be. The state police probably will be interested in, to harvest those intelligence to be able to counter such eventualities in future. Now, this issue of these people did not start on May 15, or was it May 15? Yeah, May 15 when they was kidnapped. It started sometime around last year. Like the gentleman on the TV said that, look, you don't plan this kind of operation in a day or in 2 days or in 1 month. It must have been long-standing. But a warning was sent to us, which we did not pay attention to. That was the same Oriri local government, the forest guards that they were unalived during in January 2026, at least, because at the automatic people yẹn ti wá gbalẹ̀, tán ti wá mark territory wọn. So they were just now waiting maybe for their other people to join them, for them to be able to perpetrate the acts that they perpetrated. But all in all, we thank God for everything. Ọlọ́run á túbọ̀ máa fi ààbò ẹ̀ bo gbogbo wa. I'm not sure if I'm communicating, but I think my network is shaky. So let me just stop here for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CEO Kodet. That was a very good submission as well. I really appreciate your submission. All right. Let's get to the other part. Or I'm tempted to push this to tomorrow, but let's just take the bit about what's it called now? Professor Skiyamo's response to Peter Obi, and then we'll take the others later. By the way, I would also have to tell you what Peter Obi said about the security situation, after, when he was asked, he was asked the question about this whole thing, and we'll listen to him, respond to that question. But let me thank everybody who came up earlier. Bumblebee, thanks for coming up. Mr. Fola, thank you. CEO Kodet, thank you very, very much. Let's go to the second part of this stuff, okay? Very quickly, and then I'll bring a few more people up before we call it a day. All right? So let's get into this. Lay your down. Okay, good. So thanks to the guests, and we'll have more people come up later. Let's get into Peter B's perspective of this whole thing, because we want to discuss one of the things he said when he was being interviewed by Chude about security matter in Nigeria. This is 1 second. Again, I ask this question every time. People that follow this man, what exactly do you see? We'd like you to explain, so that will help the rest of us to also maybe even consider. Nothing can make me support Peter, but I think to support Peter Obi means there's something wrong somewhere, personally, in your ability to reason. And I make no apologies for that. You don't have to support. You don't support Tinubu. I support Tinubu, but you don't have to support Tinubu. You can support any other person, but support Peter B. I'm so passionate about it. I don't get it. The guy speaks, you don't understand what. And it's not like he's saying something so deep. It's like it's so low. It doesn't even come to the radar. Go there, show on the radar of I want to look below. Anyway, Ẹkáàbọ díẹ̀ nǹkan tó sọ lọ́rọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ security, and I'm going to play you what Professor Kiyamo responded to. Take a listen to this. Again, the question, in fact, let's start with. Let's start with this one. When he was talking about how he called Buhari, Abi, how he called Obasanjo, then I'll play the one about what he would have done better. Then I'll play the first Oskiamo situation. Take a listen to this.
Had in Russia, in a place called Umuchian in Ekulobia, by 2 a.m., my phone rang and they said there's erosion and a house had collapsed into it and left my place in Oka and drove to that site 2 a.m. and called President Obasanjo. From there, I said, I'm in a village called Umuchian. It is erosion has just taking place there. A building has fallen into it. Answered me 2 a.m. 2 a.m. And that has been the case. When I had one of the most critical robberies, I called President Ẹkáàbọ. He was calling me daily until that situation was taken.
You know, we were different parties.
Yes. 50 days.
That was very big.
Umbo.
Security. Because essentially, one of the big cases against Goodluck Jonathan, who you supported then, leaving office, was that security had collapsed in the country. For a voter like me, that was a key issue. But it seems that 11 years after, 12 years after, we have returned far worse. So now the government says one, it is opposition politicians, and two, it's a global collapse.
That is nonsensical.
Okay. Why is it nonsensical and what are you going to do differently?
It requires political will. One person must be in charge. Now the government is in charge, or they're in charge. If I'm in office, one person must be in charge. And I can tell you I'll be in charge.
So still President Tinubu is not in charge?
No, it's not to the capacity. Chude, if I have, let me use Ibadan for example. If I have 40 children in the bush, I've been Ibadan.
What difference would that make?
Big difference.
Okay.
If I decide to move all the security apparatus to that place and deal with it decisively, it is a capacity thing. I moved there. I've done it in Anambra State. Go ask anybody. I wasn't delegating. This is the machinery. This is the what people want to hear from government. I was in Ibadan over the weekend and I was shocked. So did my tweet.
Yes, you said that the president has not called Governor Makinde the governor of the state.
It's unbelievable. Let me tell you. Today, forget security. I had an erosion in a place called Umuchian in Ekulobia. By 2 a.m., my phone rang and they said there's erosion and a house had collapsed into it and left my place in Oka and drove to that site 2 a.m. and called President Obasanjo. From there, I said, I'm in a village called Umuchian. It is erosion has just taking place there. A building has fallen into. He answered me 2 a.m. 2 a.m. And that has been the case. When I had one of the most critical robberies, Ẹkáàbọ. He was calling me daily until that situation was taken.
Even though you were in different parties.
Yes. 50 days. The whole Nigeria was begged that Jonathan did not call for 2 weeks. This is
when the Chibok girls were clean.
Yes. This is the over 7 weeks. Children, our children cannot be in the bush. And all of us politicians are preoccupied by next election. It is total lack of compassion. If I was president, I would by now convey all party meeting, all party leaders. I will decide how to tackle this situation. Among other things, not just this.
We carry party leaders to do what? Oh, God. The bar is so low in this country. This person should not even be aspiring to lead any presidency. I mean, there's so many things in the thing we just listened to. Let's just call it that thing. You called somebody when you had erosion issues. You called the president. You called President Obasanjo when you had erosion problems. You called Yar'Adua when you had robbery. You called them. They are now saying that, oh, the president has not called the governor. Meanwhile, the governor, and I played the clip here last week where the governor said that, they're working with the federal government to get things sorted. The beautiful thing about all this is that everything he mentioned would have yielded nothing. How do I know? Because he's talking about calling party leaders to go and do what in the forest. That's another thing. The people that should be there are there. You're saying you will go there and move your things to Oyo. And I said it last week, and I'll repeat it. What if something is happening in Oyo and something is happening in Borno at the same time? And he said it in this clip. He doesn't delegate. He will not delegate. So you have like 3 terrible incidents happening at the same time. I mean, nobody prays for terrible things or emergencies. But you have these things happening in different places at the same time. But you don't delegate, by the way. You have to be there personally. You are hands-on. You're not hands-on. You're a micromanager. And anybody who has studied leadership will tell you that micromanaging is actually a very terrible way of leading people, because it reduces the people's abilities to actually take initiative, because everything has to come from you. So again, you will do well if you're leading a mob, because all of them are just sheep. Anyway, that's that about that. There are other things he said. They asked him a simple question: what are you going to do about, what's the word now? Security. And the guy was talking about Pastor Adeboye. This man, 1 second. If I find out, I'll play. If not, we'll go to the thing we already want to talk about, which is versus Kiyamo. On board.
Because if you look at one of the biggest drain to our foreign exchange, which is affecting both our reserve and our exchange rate, is the foreign exchange. Because if you look at one of the biggest drain to our foreign exchange, which is affecting both our reserve and our exchange rate, is the foreign exchange.
What is affecting our foreign exchange is our foreign exchange. It's not even from China went to China. Anyway, let's just quickly go to Professor Kiyamo. Someone is already angry on YouTube. The person says, oh, how long are we going to endure this senseless talk from this empty stock? I hope you're talking about Peter B. If not, then to be your dad you're talking about too. Sam. All right, so let's quickly listen to Professor Kiyamo stuff. No, we have to listen to Peter B because it's the one that Professor Kiyamo was responding to. Take a listen to this, please.
Not at all. I had a case recently at the airport where people who work in the airport came and locked my car. And I said, it's me. They understand each other. I said, who is this one? We have divided the country, breeding hatred among us. That's why I keep saying, I want to.
So they said, excuse me, you you said you are the owner of the car. They said they didn't recognize you, and because they didn't recognize you, that shows that they have divided the country. So what after he said that, the Minister of Aviation, Professor Skiamo, decided to go get the CCTV footage of that incident, and this is what he put out. I want to quickly read out to you. Peter Obi must apologize to airport staff and pay the fine for wrong parking. I mean, I knew it was wrong parking the way he was saying it. You have a presidential candidate who says, I get to a particular place, I park a car somewhere, and then they came to me and say, what are you doing? I say, it is me. So what? It is me. Would that make Nigeria better? In other words, let's even assume other people are breaking the law. As the Minister of Aviation, I felt a moral duty to investigate and authenticate the claim made by opposition candidate Mr. Peter Obi a few days ago that the tires of his car were unjustly clamped at the airport, suggesting suggesting a persecution agenda against him by the federal government. Politics aside, every Nigerian is entitled to fair treatment under the law. I therefore instituted an internal inquiry over the issue. Luckily enough, the entire Abuja airport is covered by CCTV cameras, real time, 24/7. But apparently, this fact was unknown to Mr. Peter Obi. Otherwise, perhaps he would have been more circumspect before rushing to the media to cry persecution. From the recordings, these are the facts. Number one, on Saturday, July 24th, I'll tell that again. On Saturday, July 4th, 2026, Mr. Obi arrived at the domestic wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, at exactly 20:28 p.m. That's 8 p.m. in the evening. PM evening tautology, but you get the point. Driven by a policeman, he alighted with two other occupants and went into the terminal building. Number two, the police driver then parked the vehicle, almost blocking the entrance, and came out himself and went into the terminal building too. The airport rule is that, by the way, why is police following him? I thought they said that police should not follow VIP again. Should be an SCDC, okay. The airport rule is that apart from the fact that it is a drop-off zone, a driver must remain behind the wheels of the vehicle for it to be tolerated for some time within that zone. Still, the vehicle tires were not clamped. Number three, the policeman came back to the vehicle at about 8:32 p.m. and collected something from the vehicle and went back into the building again, leaving the vehicle unattended to. Number four, at this point, the dutiful airport security staff came over and clamped the tires of the car. In doing this, contrary to the claims by Mr. Obi, nobody was inside the car. And so nobody knew whether it was his car, not that it should matter anyway. Number five, when the policeman returned again and discovered the tires were clamped, he was directed to an office, and upon getting there, he called Mr. Peter Obi on his phone and gave the phone to the manager. Mr. Peter Obi then introduced himself and spoke with the manager, peddled his influence, and requested for the release of the vehicle. His vehicle was then released without him paying the necessary fine. Number six, it is important to note that the time the vehicle was parked unattended to in that prohibited zone was about 30 minutes, which constitutes a security risk at an airport by global best practices. What has emerged from this is a clear case of an opposition candidate trying to whip up unnecessary sentiments for a wrong he committed with his driver. The excuse which Mr. Peter Obi gave that there were other offenders too on that day, which is completely false, cannot be an excuse for an individual aspiring to be president of Nigeria. He must live above board. This is a matter that was not even mentioned at all by the airport authorities and had been put to rest. But ever determined to milk any situation to score cheap political points, Mr. Peter Obi decided to go on air to render a false narrative. I'm never surprised. Therefore, he must also face the consequences of his action. I have attached the CCTV footages to this statement for the public to clearly see what transpired. I'm looking at the CCTV footage. I'll tell you how to see it if you want. That it tenders an unreserved. Okay, so I'll tell you that again. I have attached the CCTV footages to this statement for the public to clearly see what transpired. In the circumstances consistent with the principle of equality before the law, as Minister of Aviation, I make the following demands on Mr. Peter Obi. Number one, that he tenders an unreserved public apology to those hard-working, ordinary Nigerian workers at the airport, just doing their jobs dutifully, and whom he sought to blackmail as his persecutors. Number two, that Mr. Peter Obi voluntarily goes back to the airport and pay the appropriate fine of 25,000 naira for wrongful parking at the airport, for which he used quote-unquote influence peddling to bully his way out on that day. He cannot be bigger than the law. If these demands are not met within 1 week, I will be giving the necessary directives to the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria FAN to take the next steps against him. Oh my God. Let me send you this. I'll put it on the Telegram channel. Somebody says, I'll send it. I'm even doing it at the moment. Redomi Global. In case you have not joined our Telegram channel, please join now. You see it. Redomi Global on Telegram. Or you can just go to your browser and type the URL t.me/Redomi Global. REDOMI. It's right there. The link is there, so you can see the videos, you can see the footages yourself, because it will be a bit awkward showing you on the camera. So please check it out there. You see that video right there. Apparently, Peter B lied. But again, I am not surprised. But it tells you something. The person who is trying to lead the nation cannot resist the urge, right, to make himself a victim in every story. Like I said, it's a cultural thing. It's not a Peter Obi thing. It's a cultural thing. I mean, go all the way back to Azikiwe. He was doing the same thing. It's because of this. It's because of that. In other words, because they're not allowing you to break the law, that means that they have destroyed the country. The country is not divided. So what proves that we are united is the ability for you to break the law without consequences. These are the people that some people are following. If you're a Yoruba person, in fact, if you're Nigerian, I don't even care about your ethnicity. If you're Nigerian, you're following Peter Obi, you need help. Oh. You need help. Help. And it's not because I want you to support Tinubu. I mean, I would want you to support Tinubu, but that's not even the reason. I don't care if you're supporting Chude or Atiku. At least when this whole thing happened, they spoke up. Atiku spoke up. Chude spoke up about this whole Oyo State. I mean, everybody spoke up. But this one was milking it to the point where few days before the eventual release, he was still talking about how he would have gone to situate himself in that place as though he was trained to do anything there. Guys, please, man of the people, I'm going to send you an invite. If you don't come up, you'll be blocked. I sent you an invite. If you don't come up, I'm going to block you and I'm going to kick you out because you're a retard. But I want you to come up and tell me how retarded you are. Then someone needs to be talking to you guys. Your brain is leaking. All right, it's not going to come up. I know it will not come up. Anyway, let's have sensible people come up. Man of the people, since you did not come up, I'm going to have to block you. Because again, you're a retard. You're a retard. Okay? Go and tell your elders I said that. I promised you, I have promised I will never fail. I promised I was going to block you. I've blocked you. God bless you, eh? All right, let's have a people come up. By the way, people I said they are they are reporting the account. By the way, if you're on TikTok, let me just say, in case something happens, it's because they're reporting it. Okay, you know what? Let's do this way. I'm going to change. Give me a second. Can you hear me? Let me know if the audio is good enough. I'll bring up a few people. Hello, hello. Is the audio good? It's good. Thank you. Thank you. So I had to change one of the accounts because it looks like they were reporting on the other account. Hey, Nichelle, they are reporting account that nothing happened to. Anyway, let's bring some people so we quickly wrap up today's session. By the way, it's been lovely hanging out with everybody. We do have these sessions every weekday in case you join us for the first time. So we have the sessions Mondays to Fridays, 4 p.m. if a time West African time. So we'll be here again tomorrow. Oh, thank you, Tidan. Thank you so much for that gift. I really appreciate it. All right, lovely. So let's bring up, okay, everybody just send the requests. I'll bring you up once and for all. Please, it's past 8. I'd like to leave you at 8. So I can still give you a few minutes. Please, 2 minutes. 2 minutes, please. Try and understand. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 second. Let me read. Let me create a new space for everybody. Please don't send requests again, please. God bless you in Jesus' name. And if you come up 2 minutes max, I really would like to go. Where is Madam Mimi? It was because of you I was even expanding the place. So where are you? I'm inviting you, so please come up. Please mute as soon as you get up. Thank you. Please mute. Thank you.
To kind of dial down that rhetoric. Their own very real fears and threats that they have faced in their own.
Someone is. Oh boy.
So really, this is going to be a very big and ongoing issue. Amanda, thank you.
All right, let's get started. Let's start with Storm Okoro. Good evening, Storm.
Good evening. Good evening.
I can't hear you though. This audio is not good.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right. Thank you for accepting my request, and thank you for this program. Always informative. Well done. Thank you so much. Now, to my contribution. You see, the internet has provided a platform for just anybody to voice their opinion, and we've seen how retarded some of these opinions are. We've seen how unbelievable the suggestion in some of these opinion and the write-ups are. For somebody to sit down at their homes and suggest that the kidnaps were coordinated, were just somebody planned it. For what? For children at that age to suffer for 56 days? It's beyond just, it's inconceivable. So content creators are now, for some reason, they like to hear their own voices. They like to read their own, whatever they write. Now, similar thing happened in China. And did you know what the Chinese government did? For you to provide an opinion online on anything specific, you have to have a specialization in that thing. Otherwise, you will be picked up. Nigeria should do the same thing. For the amount of nonsense that we now read and hear on all this Facebook, TikTok, just everywhere. It's ridiculous. It's too much. Now, to Peter Obi, you see, honestly, Peter Obi at best is a C minus student. Now, how on earth is a C minus student? I mean, on simple question they ask this man, he does not understand. It's either he does not understand the question, or just deliberately being mischievous, disingenuous. I honestly don't know, but I honestly don't like to make fun of ignorance. However, this guy's ignorance is just out of this world. To go to airport and park illegally and then come online to say you somebody is harassing you. They asked him about 2-3 weeks ago, what are your plans to the Nigerians to the issues in the country? This guy said,
Let's wrap up, please.
All right, I'm wrapping up. Thank you. This guy said he could not provide answer because somebody will steal his ideas. But all of a sudden, he can provide a solution to, I call president, I call Mr. This guy, God save us from this guy. God save us. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Storm. God bless you, sir. Let's go to the madam on the stage. Good evening, Madam Mimi.
Good
Let's
evening,
try and keep
sir.
it short, please. Thank you.
Everybody, sir. My point is that one need láti contact. I don't know how this is going to be done, but somehow the elders, maybe the church elders in the southeast, would have to step in. I know they don't respect the Joe Igbokwe's and all the people that try to tell them the truth, but àwọn àgbà ń wà lọ́jà kórí ọmọdé wọ́. They really do need some elders. The reason I said that is people can be talking to each other or at each other, but are they listening? Because ẹni tó ń pè lágbà bíi Peter Obi is not exactly a young person. And I was arguing that with someone, pé ẹni tó bá wà objective, tó lóun fẹ́ good Nigeria, òun dẹ̀ ń fọmọdé. Sowore is younger than Peter Obi. So I don't understand the basis for the madness on Peter Obi, other than the initial hype 2023 that caught somebody like me because they were messing up the other people. So they need the elders of the church. And tó bá mọ àgbà tó wà nílẹ̀ Ìgbò, kó sọ fún wọn pé àwọn náà ń jalè kiri, àwọn náà ń borúkọ Nàìjà jẹ́, àwọn ló ń ṣe jìbìtì kiri. Tẹ́ bá sọ fún wọn one-on-one bí eléyìí, wọ́n máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ whataboutism wọn, ṣe bí Yorùbá kan hush puppy náà máa sọ. It's not about isolated incidents. They have constituted themselves into nuisance, and I think it's time for the church, very church, tó ń derisively refer sí, àwọn àgbà tó yẹ kán respect gangan náà put down. Àwọn Adébóyè yẹn gangan ló lè bá wọn wá solution sí ọ̀rọ̀ ilé ayé wọn. They need people to talk, because this spare part trading mentality tí gbogbo wọn gbé kiri tán fi ń approach gbogbo topics yẹn kò lè work, and is messing them up all over the world. They need to borrow sense, to use Nigerian slangs. Eléyìí tán pè lóbi yẹn kò ní sense rárá. He doesn't know what green energy is. He doesn't seem to know anything. He just thinks he's class captain tó ń fẹ́ ṣe. That doesn't work. That guy needs to go and sleep and go to school, because somebody brought out his certificate. He's talking about Tinubu's certificate, and I keep telling them Tinubu went to CSU, also Chicago State. People know Tinubu in Chicago State. This guy, Sinsuka pẹ̀lú credits without credits in math and English in the 80s. Kò ṣẹlẹ̀ rí. Bó ló ṣe jáde ní Sinsuka? báwo ló ṣe wọlé? Kò sí remedial programs ní Nsukka, Maiduguri, Sokoto náà ti ń ṣe remedial ní 80s, wọ́n ń ṣe ní southern universities. Báwo ló ń ṣe jáde? Báwo ló ṣe jẹ́ pé Saturday náà kọ certificate ẹ̀ àti NYSC ẹ̀? So they need to be taking the fight to these people because they're celebrating mediocrity in the southeast, sadly. Ẹ ṣé.
I was going to say thank you very much, but I just couldn't say without laughing. By the way, just to confirm what the two of them have said, Kia, why should people vote for you, Peter Obi? This is what Peter Obi had to say in response. Take a listen.
Why should people vote for you? You know the truth that people should not vote for President Tinubu. You are voting for an opposition candidate. Why should it be you?
Why will I be voted? It's for you to look at my past and look at what I'm saying now. Right? Somebody asked me yesterday, said that Pastor Adibore said Tinubu has tried his best and he's not happy. And I said, no, Pastor Adibore remains a very revered, respected religious father, whom I believe in his genuineness and goodness. And what he said was correct. He said he has tried his best. He's trying his best. That's it. The correct answer. The question to ask is his best good enough? In where we found ourselves today, that leads to the issue of capacity. When I talk about leadership, I say competence, capacity, compassion, commitment, character. These are the issues. President Tinubu is tired. I need to go home and rest.
Do you remember the question? Why should people vote for you? How we reach redemption camp? Anyway, by the way, there's a saying on social media. All right. It's a flip on the Yoruba proverb. Wọ́n ní ọmọdé gbọ́n, àgbà gbọ́n la fi dálẹ̀ ẹ̀fẹ̀. There's a flip on that on social media. Those who know. So when you said the elders should call them, if you know the flip of that ọmọdé gbọ́n, àgbà gbọ́n la fi dálẹ̀ ẹ̀fẹ̀, the flip is what people say is the reality elsewhere. Let's go to the next person. Mr. Remy, Ekroleo.
Ekroleo, sir.
Ẹkáàbọ, sir.
Ẹ kú ọjọ́ mẹ́ta.
Ẹlẹ́ sá, ó tọ́jọ́ mẹ́ta lóòótọ́.
Ọjọ́ mẹ́ta. So no time to máa ń wá on duty. Mi n lè sọ̀rọ̀ bọ̀ mo kàn máa wà background máa ń gbọ́ program.
Thank you for your support, sir.
So nǹkan tí mo kàn fẹ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ it's about that time tó yẹ pé aláti entertain question yìí in Yoruba land. How long can we tolerate these people in our midst? Because if they were living in their area, if their livelihood and whatever, their well-being, if they were earning everything in Igbo land, I wouldn't have a problem with them, like always this throwing us under the bus and everything. But if the situation you have like almost 40% of their entire population living in Yoruba land, and they have the audacity to still in our midst, so they are still doing it from afar, doing all this rubbish and everything. We Yorubas must finally ask ourselves, how long do we want to tolerate this? Because this problem is never going to go away. This problem because it's never going, because somebody is saying like they should talk to their elders. But they even learned it from their elders. So who are they going to talk? Who is going to call them to reason, like stop and all this thing? Nobody. Me, I personally, I ask myself, like, I have very little patience for rubbish. I really have very little patience for rubbish, and everything like I will just see it and we move on. The next day, like they are already out there, like
doing this even worse than the previous thing they did. How can you imagine like this situation? Like it was staged. Like it was like I was on Facebook, like on lots of posts. Like I even made the post there, like these people they were rescued, they were not released. Come and see as Igbo, like almost 500 comments. You see, it's tiring. It's tiring, and I guess they just want to wear us down with this constant attacks and throwing poisonous darts in our direction to make us to wear us to make us tired. Because okay, you know what, it's that's just basically what they are working towards, and I don't know how reasonable people can think like by insulting people, by disparaging people, like you now convince them to be on your side. It beats me. Ogabusi. So again, you know me, South African treatment and everything will be fine. Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Thank you, sir. So you made a statement, and I think it's a good place to start. You said it will never go away. That's the truth. And here's the thing: whether they break up or you start a new country, it will never go away. How do I know that? It's in Ghana. Ghana is not part of Nigeria. Just because Ghana is in West Africa, it's happening. So how is Ghana handling it, and how can we handle this situation, regardless of our sovereign status? Is by enacting laws that ensure order. And what I said right now may sound very simplistic, but here's the thing: there are some people who thrive in chaos, who thrive in dysfunction. So such people, their wings are clipped once you have structured organization or structured society. So what Nigeria needs to do, going for particularly our lawmakers in the Southwest, they've got to put laws in place across everything. Of course, it's going to help us as individuals and help us to reshape the way we think and the way we act in our space, but it also phase out certain people, right? Once you create structure, what's happening in Mandilas? Why is it happening? Why is everybody talking? It's because of structure. Once you create that structure, I mean, same thing happened with Coastal Way, with the guy who was saying that it's because he's from this place, it's because he's Igbo and so on and so forth. Once you create order, a person who only thrives in dysfunction finds it difficult to be at peace. So it's that they find water finds its level. In other words, they begin to conform to the new order, or they go where they can create their dysfunction and thrive in it. But it's a very important question you asked. Perhaps it's not something we can discuss today, but it's something we should think about. But I think the government across the Southwest, particularly, need to come up with laws that create order. In creating order, those who don't like order will face away. For instance, we're talking now about street begging. Very soon, you might get to street walking and so on and so forth. We'll see how that will work. Which structure is in place, Prof? I didn't say the structure is in place. I said we should create the structure. That means that there's no structure, right? Structure that allows people, for instance, I mean, the other day I was listening to a girl was saying that NAFDAC has entered trade fair. If I find that video, I'll play for you. The NAFDAC wasn't trade fair, and they are targeting Igbos because they are selling cream or 500 naira. Like when people talk like retards, you just know that there's a major issue. So what you need to do in that kind of situation, for instance, that you know that people are buying these things and consuming it and it's affecting their health and they're exercising it. So Lagos State also now has to have their own Food and Drug Administration Control Agency. You go in there, do what you have to do. When people build on the waterways, you put down the structure. It's not about hating anybody. You can't have a society where people can build on canals and then you complain about flooding. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. It's not even deep. It's not that deep. There is a law that governs the way environment has to be structured. You build something out of place, it's removed. Oh, it's because it's our ethnicity. Nobody cares. You shouldn't build on the waterways, because when you do that, it affects all of us. When it affects all of us, you say Lagos is smelly. So no, remove the building. It's not because they hate you, it's because you are contravening the law. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So it applies to everything, whether it's drugs or environment, and so on and so forth. All right, let's go to, we have 2 more speakers. Math tuition. Oh, we have 3. Let's have math tuition, and Mr. Folado will go to logic. But let's keep it short, please. Thank you.
Olotu, long time.
I thought it was my battlefield. It was when you said Olotu, I just, Ekwajo Meta.
Oh, yeah, how you doing?
Shewa.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I like your shirt. I like the, is it Adire?
It's not Adire. It's, I've forgotten the English word, Sha, but it's one nice skin like that.
It's good. It looks like Adire pattern. Very nice. Epele.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Flex, that's what they call it, flex. Like flex imprint.
All right. We are so grateful for the good news. So sometimes it's good that you are lucky that things break for you. Bible says that things will fall for us in pleasant places. Assure Youth Administration has been justified by saying that do not pay ransom and do not negotiate with bandits. So all of them now they will be quiet. Number 2, the security services emphasize something in their news conference this afternoon. They emphasize the role of the communities. People are making noise that, okay, our calling was successful in Oyo. When it happened, the teachers went on strike. People were making noise. Local people were making noise. And apart from that, they were providing information that they have to the security services. I cannot recall any kidnapping in Nigeria in recent years where Northerners have rioted or shouted or demonstrated en masse in that local area or provided information to security services to the extent that they can help the way they can. Because reality is that you cannot solve crime if you don't have information. Now, in the UK in the last few days, they killed a politician. Now, the police here couldn't get the job done without getting information from members of the public. Because then it only solve a crime, no matter how sophisticated you are, you need the information from the public to help you crack that case. So I hope that our leaders in the North will learn from that. Finally, in terms of order, I completely agree. Mr. Governor said in Lagos, said something recently about the Badagry axis, where on the median, somebody had gone to do borehole. You cannot imagine, you cannot make it up. Somebody did a borehole on the media. I was selling the water. So what are we talking about? So this dysfunction thing must start from, I'm coming to Lagos. You must have a residency permit. Kí ni nǹkan tó fẹ́ wá ṣe? Níbo lo fẹ́ gbé? We must go back to the basics. If not, the Southwest is going to be fighting a losing battle because we have unregulated immigration. There's nowhere in the world that you have uncontrolled immigration and you prosper and succeed. No, it's going to be causing chaos. So we need to put a system in place to manage all across the federation, no matter where you want to go. And I'm sure the NIMSI, the regulated NIMSI that they've upgraded now by Mr. President's administration, will go a long way to find, okay, where are you from? Where do you live? All of those things. Because of time, I'll just rest my case for now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for that submission, math tuition. And maybe tomorrow we'll talk about the NIMC thing, the NIMC stuff you mentioned, and NIN. There's a new upgrade that's happening, and but we don't have the time for now. We'll talk about it tomorrow, hopefully. Fantastic submission, nothing else to add. We're just going to go to Mr. Fola, and then we'll have Logic Vector. Thank you, Tidan, for liking the live. Good evening, Mr. Fola.
Thank you for having me again. Why I'm concerned about the airport issue is that I work in aviation, so Kamilara gon. Mo de mo àwọn, and I know why we do the things we do. Sherry BT Ogade Ibito Ogade Park yẹn. Ibẹ̀ gangan làwọn èèyàn máa ń gbà wọlé. She understand? Ẹnu ọ̀nà gangan ní ibẹ̀ yẹn. Now, tí staff gan bá park síbẹ̀, or tí tó bá jẹ́ ẹ̀yin lẹ park síbẹ̀ tí mo mọ̀ yín rí, even tí bá bẹ̀bẹ̀, at least you pay 5,000 naira. That's based on recognition, oh, as a staff that works there. Even if it is your family member that is parked on that portion of the road, you would pay a fine. Now, he was not just parked around, he was parked at the major entrance. That was the walkway. Teba noticed there was like a shed there. The walkway, tí ó wọlé, ibi bẹ̀ gangan ló park sí. Then what annoyed me is you claim to be humble. You are washing toilets. You are serving food at weddings, but you are saying, do you know who I am? That's the regular Nigerian big man lingua. Oh, do you know who I am? Don't you know it is me? It is me. So who the heck are you? And why should we not do our jobs because of you? There was a day, me man no, but I was at a terminal building, and a moment sees the SAN that they just removed the sand ship. I don't want to mention his name. He came out of the exit point of the airport, and he needed to go back in. So he turned and wanted to go in through that same place, and the security guard said, "I'm sorry, sir, you cannot go in through here." Now, the entry point, Koto, 12 steps away from the exit point. Oh. You know what he did? Introduce himself. My name is so and so SAN. And me, I know who he is, obviously. That security guard does not give it. He does not know. So the fact is that many of these big men, they feel because they're on TV and they make a lot of noise, people know who they are. But people actually don't. So then, let me just end there. Tori Motirinpe time calm down here, Titon. Let me just end there. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. And it's actually quite nice that you work in that sector. If you say you want to be a leader, you're supposed to be above board. Now, nobody is above mistakes. But let's say you have made a mistake. Again, we're all humans after all. And then someone comes to you and says, see what you've done. The next thing cannot be, do you know who I am? I am this and that. Show more meaning. And he said it. I introduced myself. I said, it's me. So what? You broke the law. Which one is this is me? And so, meanwhile, Matt Vision mentioned what happened Lagos Badagry Expressway. I want to play that one to you very quickly because I think we should watch something from Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and then move on to other things. Watch.
We have a role to play. Everybody has a role to play. PSP has a role to play. The tenements, the citizens, for your part, you have a role to play. So everybody on the Lagos Badagry Express Road. Let me repeat. The Lagos Badagry Express Road from Orile all the way to Los Okukumaikwe. We are coming to clear the entire media. We are coming to clear the entire media. And it will start next. I don't know if it's Monday, if it's Tuesday, but we're coming and everything will go. Can you hear me? Everything. Whatever it is that will be destroyed, will be taken away. All the media. It's a 10-lane highway that was built. We can see the level of very unheard how and very disturbing trail of waste being dumped feeding. Over the stretch of 50 meters, we were able to clear the refuse here. I'm told that Loma Chu was on this access yesterday and also 3 days ago. Policy and to keep to the commitment we've given the Russians that we will lead from the top to ensure that we can set aside 2 to 3 hours on the last Saturday of the month to observe the cleanliness of the city. We are also incorporating younger ones from school children. You can see some of them taking the information up to their schools and eventually to their parents on why it's important for them to have a clean and an healthy environment. We have a role to play. Everybody has a role to play. PSP has a role to play.
All right. That was the governor of Lagos State. And essentially what he's saying, I mean, think about it. How on earth can somebody just decide to go build shanties or a median 10-lane road? What is Sodi Kekere? And then if you do anything, you hear, Lagos is smelling. So that's kind of structure I was talking about. We'll have the final speaker now, then we'll call it a day. Let's have Logic Vector. Good evening, Logic.
Good evening, host.
Happy.
Yeah.
Wait, have you ever come up?
No, this is my first time.
Wow, let me clap for you. Because I see in the comment section, I've never heard you speak, but thank you for coming up.
One of the things I like about you, host, is that when you started your program, when I started listening to you, you were very calm and very, should I say, very considerate. And recently, I love the way the horror is coming from you. Anytime you are talking now, I see that you are now getting into the rhythm. Everybody is now beginning to understand the situation of the country, that we should not take it easy with this bunch of, I don't want to use the negative word here, but you know what I want to say. So one of the problems we have in Nigeria is that many of these people that say they are better than they are the next best thing after bread and butter. They always compare Nigeria with China, they compare Nigeria with Singapore, they compare Nigeria with the United States. Many of these Western world that we are comparing Nigeria with, go and check the ethnicity makeup of that nation. China, for instance, 92% of the country is made of Mandarin. They are speaking one language, Mandarin. In other words, the political purpose, the political vision, and the economic vision of the nation is very easy to progress, because the nation are in one voice. They are speaking in one language, and the minority are very insignificant compared to the majority. When you talk about Singapore, for instance, 75% of Singaporeans are speaking one language. It is very easy for a country like that to progress. But we have Nigeria, where some people see Nigeria as an an extension of their father's estate. Like Ahmadu Bello delivered a speech in 1950 something or so. We also have the Igbos, who are seeing the South people as part of their father's estate as well. They consider the South as everybody there, the land belongs to them. And in the 21st century, when the Chinese government and the Western world are developing AI technology and inventing new ways of manufacturing and production, we are still talking about people trying to grab other people's land. One of the reasons why languages were introduced in European countries, when you land to countries like Germany, France, and also other countries, they will ask you to go and learn their language for you to integrate properly. It is not because of the promotion of their culture. That's why they say you should go and learn those languages. It is also part of checkmating immigration into their cities and states. Because if people think about the language they are going to learn before they are going to integrate into the French country and culture and tradition, it will be very difficult for them to immigrate to France. This is the reason why you see more people going to countries that speak English, like Canada, Australia, and the United States, instead of going to Germany, instead of going to France. This is a way of checkmating the number of jobs, particularly for their own citizens as well. I think we need to start implementing such thing in our land, particularly in the Southwest. We need to make Yoruba language the lingua franca for everybody. For you to come into Yoruba land, if you cannot communicate in Yoruba language, you are not supposed to be there in the first place. Why? Because some people see using this one Nigeria syndrome, using it as an opportunity to invade our country. And they say immigration without integration is an invasion. These people are coming to our land, they are taking all our jobs. Immediately they get into any manufacturing company or any multinational company. Their target is always the human resources management. Once they get to the human resources, they will gatekeep the work, and they will start bringing people from various parts of their states. That is why recently a video that went viral, you see an Anambra woman that was given opportunity to employ people from across the states. He was employing 811 people only from Anambra State. Oyo State, 0. Lagos State, 0. Ekiti State, 0. You see, these people are so ethnocentric that they don't care about anybody. And their character is fundamental. It is inside the DNA. There is nothing anybody can do. They have exported this bad character to Ghana, to South Africa, and the Zulu tribe in South Africa has raising against them and send everybody away. What are they now saying? They are saying xenophobia, Afrophobia, Indophobia, and all the phobias. But the bottom line is the South Africans don't want these people anymore in their country. So we have to do this same thing in the Southwest. Although we are not like the South Africans, we are very enlightened and educated people. But I believe there is a systematic way to send these people back to the 5 dots in a cycle, just as the late president said it.
Thank you. Thank you, Logic Vector.
You don't want me to conclude, host?
No. You have passed the time. You've done times 2 of your
In conclusion, host, the so-called Messiah.
Seconds.
In conclusion, host, the next best thing after Jollof Rice that they call their supreme leader that wants to rule Nigeria. He went to the airport, he parked in the wrong direction, and he's saying they should give him some courtesy. This is a person that is pretending to serve food in Jollof and serve food in various parties. And at the end of the day, you cannot lead by example. These people are hypocritical in nature. But nevertheless, they are minority in Nigeria. They cannot make any difference. Thank you, host.
Thank you. Some of you in that comment section, you are fire. Okay. It came up for the first time today. And by the way, one thing I picked, everything you said, fantastic stuff, but I picked out a quote. I've heard it before, but it's been a long time, and I'm glad you brought it back. Immigration without integration is invasion. And I agree with it 100%. Absolutely. And I hope that I was talking to wife about some parts of Europe, some countries in Europe, how, regardless of the fact that you have certain countries that have more than one ethnicities, if you're moving to a particular part of that country, you have to learn the language, whether it's Belgium or in Switzerland, you have to learn the language of that particular country. I don't know why when you say that in Nigeria, people shouting, "Oh, you are dividing the country." We are different already. It's not about dividing. It's about acknowledging the reality of our differences. It doesn't kill anybody. And you're very correct. 92% of China is Han Chinese, and 75% of Singapore is Chinese. So naturally, certain things are done based on the same ideology, same cultural outlook. We don't have that advantage in Nigeria, which is quite sad. But we can have it at regional levels, at ethnic levels, and that's why Papa, constantly, campaigned and asked for ethno-linguistic states in Nigeria. And that's why I always tell our people when they talk about let's go back to regional system, I always like to tell people that even at the time, Awo did not think regional system was the best for Nigeria. Yes, he did what he did in that system, but that's not because it was the best system. All right. The best would be ethno-linguistic states. And we will have conversations about, we've done it before, but we're going to have such conversations more and more. And then the thing you said about the fact that when I started, I was gentle. When I started, I am who I am. I'm gentle until people take it for granted. And I think a lot of clowns from certain parts think that being quiet means that you can just say rubbish. But like I always say, many of them are retards, but they'll be all right, hopefully. Possibly, but I'm not crossing my fingers. Anyway, thanks to everybody who came up. We have Logic Vector, Mr. Remy Guy, and Math Tuition, Madam Mimi, Mr. Fola, Bumblebee, everybody. Thank you very much for coming up. We've come to the end of today's session. 1 second, please. Okay, so thanks everybody for being part of this session. We focus more on your state because, if we're not talking about our state, what exactly are we talking about? It's something to celebrate and to also review. That's why we spend a lot of time on that. We also talked about some of the lamba we got from Peter B. Again, if you're a Yoruba person, please, our Lord gave us free education, 1955. All right, you are Yoruba. Don't disgrace your ancestors. Only people that using foreign exchange is a problem in Nigeria because of foreign exchange. China went to China. That's the person you have for. Why do you want to become president? Why should people choose you? Baba Deboye said, anyway, may Tinubu win. But beyond that, or more than that, may Nigeria work for us. By the way, there's a conversation I'll probably talk about tomorrow with someone saying that there'll be a third term. It was very definitive about it. That's Odin Kalu. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But thank everyone for being part of today's session. It's been great hanging out with you. We'll be here again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Ife time, West African time. We do have these sessions every weekday, Mondays to Fridays, 4 p.m. Ife time, West African time. And also, we hope that someone in the presidency sees this. We've got to do something about fulfilling the promise that Buhari made to the Southeast. By the way, Buhari's passing clocked a year today. And I think before we go, we should also talk about that. Okay, as a sign of respect for the statesman, former president. We're actually done, but I don't think it would be nice to go without talking about this. So give me a second, please. His wife was there, the vice president. One second, Dr. Kashim Shettima was also present, and they were there to celebrate 1 year of his passing. I'll play you something, a couple of clips, and then we'll begin to wrap up. I thought I had it. Well, I wasn't planning to talk about it. By the way, while I'm looking for the clip, let me also mention that GRV lost his mom, and it's quite sad. Mrs. Nkechi Rhodes Vivo. He put out a statement earlier today. Nkechi Rhodes Vivo, beloved wife, devoted mother, gentle spirit. She loved fiercely and gave endlessly. In her arms we found home, in her smile we found peace. A wife who cherished, a mother who nurtured. Her love was our shelter, and it remains unshaken in every heart she held. May God grant the family fortitude to bear that loss. So that was Jarvis' mom. All right. I want to play something from Shettima as we wrap up. Okay. Okay, good. So this was the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, speaking at the 1 year remembrance of the late ex-president, Muhammadu Buhari, in Abuja earlier today. Please take a listen.
I delivered the president's speech. Let me digress a little bit. When you are in power, your friends know you. When you are out of power, you know your friends. Let me acknowledge and appreciate President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his loyalty and support, keeping with the faith, friendship, and camaraderie that punctuated his relationship with late President Muhammadu Buhari. I remember I was in Ethiopia for the Green Africa Initiative when we got wind of the late president's illness. The president called me and said, Kashim, I've just learned that President Muhammadu Buhari is ill in London. Please kindly proceed to London and find out what is happening and ensure he lacks nothing. That episode marked a very reserved and everlasting memory in me as I go to see him in the hospital in London. His doctor ushered me in. He wanted to wake him up. I came out with tears in my eyes and met Zara and Yusuf at the door of the ICU unit. It was a moving spectacle, it was a moving moment. And to have also gotten the honor of escorting his body on behalf of the president back home is one of the greatest honors done to me by the president and by the family.
Former head of state, Yakubu Gowon, was also in attendance as the family held 1 year remembrance for the late president. May his soul rest in peace, and may the soul of Madam Nkechi Rhodes Survivor also rest in peace. That's a good way to end today's session. We'll be at now, and then we'll call.
Our own here needed there, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honor, and this we count as gain. To hand unto our children a banner without stain. May we bless Nigeria, may be
Àjọlá, ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ní ẹ jẹ́ ká máa lépa. Tẹ̀síwájú ọ̀pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára. Ọmọ Oòduà dìde, bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ. Ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ gbogbo adúláwọ̀. Àwa ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀, ìmọ́lẹ̀ wo ni wọ́kùn lágbára Ọlọ́run. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ò ní bàjẹ́, Nàìjíríà náà ò ní dàrú, ilé wa ọ̀nà wa ò ní dàrú. Nǹkan tó bá dáwọ́ lé a máa yọrí sí rere ní lágbára Ọlọ́run. Àti pẹ̀lú Ọlọ́run fún oore ọ̀fẹ́ tó fún wa, àti fún àwọn ọmọ tí wọ́n ti kúrò nínú ìgbèkùn àwọn tó ń dáni lọ́nà tó ń ṣe agbésùnmọ̀mí àbí nǹkan tó ń ṣe, nǹkan tó ń bá máa ṣe. Àti pẹ̀lú Ọlọ́run, àti pẹ̀lú ìjọba àpapọ̀, àti pẹ̀lú ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀, àti pẹ̀lú àwọn elétò aláàbò. Thank you for listening to being part of today's session. We're glad that those pupils and the teachers were released from the den of these kidnappers. They're actually more than kidnappers, they're terrorists, because they say they are connected to Al Qaeda. We're glad that they've been rescued. We're praying that we'll have more good news in different parts of Nigeria, and our security issues become a thing of the past by the grace of God. Thank you for being part of today's session. May God bless you and keep you. May God keep your family and the work of your hands. May God bless Nigeria, our country, and Yoruba land, our nation. Thanks a lot for being part of today's session. I'll see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m.